Breaking right now. Israeli fighter jets are hammering targets across Iran for the 10th consecutive day of this unprecedented air campaign. Strikes are hitting Tehran, Isfahan, and southern Iran simultaneously, targeting the regime's core military command and control systems. And the biggest development of all just confirmed tonight. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed in the opening strike. His wife and a son were also killed in that same attack. 1 week later, Iran has named a new supreme leader. His name is Mojtaba Khamenei, the slain Ayatollah's son. The assembly of experts chose him, calling on all Iranians to swear allegiance. He is only the third supreme leader ever. Regime supporters filled the streets of Tehran celebrating, even as Israeli airstrikes continued pounding targets all around them. But not everyone is celebrating. Others shouted, "Death to Mojtaba" from balconies in Tehran, revealing deep fractures inside the country. President Trump responded immediately. He said he is not pleased with the choice and refused to say what he plans to do. Pete Hegseth was far more direct. "We are fighting to win. We set the terms." The assault, he said, has only just begun. Israel's foreign ministry called Mojtaba another tyrant continuing the regime's cruelty. Trump previously threatened no Iranian leader survives without his approval. "I have tracked every development in this campaign, and what these combined air forces are accomplishing is unlike anything in modern warfare." 6,000 munitions dropped at enormous ranges. Full synchronization between the Israeli Air Force and United States Central Command. Each wave is designed to strip away another layer of Iran's ability to launch, communicate, and fight back effectively. Ballistic missile launch sites destroyed across multiple Iranian provinces. The IRGC Space Command headquarters in Tehran was struck directly. The Revolutionary Guard's central drone headquarters was destroyed, along with suicide drones stored inside and ready for immediate launch. A surveillance satellite launched in 2022 had been tracking Israeli movements. 16 transport aircraft were destroyed near Tehran. Intelligence tracked these planes, carrying weapons and cash to proxies for years. These planes were the Quds Force lifeline to Hezbollah and the Houthis. The regime tried to hide them in scrapyards. It failed. Through cross-checked intelligence, every single aircraft was identified and struck. At least half a dozen senior Iranian commanders were killed in the opening hours, gutting the regime's emergency decision-making structure. Secretary Rubio stated the objective with total clarity this week: destroy the missiles, the factories that produce them, and the Navy. With every passing day, he said, Tehran has less capability. The Iranian Navy is effectively gone. Days ago, they had 11 ships in the Gulf of Oman. Most are now at the bottom. But this is where the conflict turns truly dangerous. Iran is gambling everything, attacking oil and water infrastructure across the Gulf. Tehran struck oil refineries across multiple Gulf states, but the regime is now targeting something far more critical than petroleum. 3 desalination plants were hit in Bahrain, the UAE, and Kuwait. 100 million people depend on desalination for their drinking water. Iran is threatening to shut it all down entirely. The Strait of Hormuz is under direct pressure. 1/5 of the world's oil flows through this waterway every single day. Oil prices surged since the conflict began. Iran's strategy is clear: trigger a global economic crisis to force outside intervention. The Iranians can burn oil fields with minimal weaponry and technology. Insurance companies have already suspended coverage for tankers in the Gulf. Shipping through the region is grinding to a halt. Hundreds of commercial vessels are stranded in Gulf waters right now. The economic damage is spreading far beyond this region. The Gulf states have barely responded militarily. Saudi Arabia authorized retaliation, but the actual response has been almost non-existent. The fear is real. Iran has absolutely nothing left to lose. From what I can tell, these countries want the Americans and Israelis to do the fighting for them. And that is exactly what is happening. Qatar's former prime minister said he feels betrayed by Iran entirely. The Northern Front is also escalating. Hezbollah expanded fire, with rockets from Lebanon reaching central Israel for the first time. The IDF doubled its forces in southern Lebanon overnight. Division 36 launched targeted raids against Hezbollah terror infrastructure. A missile from Lebanon reached Beit Shemesh, 20 minutes from Jerusalem. The IDF struck the launchers within a single hour. 15 casualties reported across Israel. The IDF warns that reduced launch rates should not breed complacency. The danger persists. Thousands of Lebanese families are now fleeing the southern border areas. Inside Iran, civilians describe a country under occupation by its own regime. Roadblocks everywhere, masked gunmen on every corner. Basij forces occupy schools and hospitals. Some Iranians say the regime's own forces are more frightening than the war itself. The internet is blacked out across most of the country. Any sign of dissent is met with immediate and visible force. In Washington, the political pressure is intensifying by the hour. Trump wants this wrapped up in weeks, not months. He is watching oil prices and the upcoming midterm elections very closely. 4 stated goals: destroy nuclear capability, eliminate ballistic missiles, sink the remaining Navy, and cut all proxy funding entirely. But here's the question that has kept me up at night. Roughly 440 kilograms of enriched uranium inside Iranian nuclear facilities. That is enough material for approximately 10 nuclear devices. Retrieving it may require special forces on the ground eventually. Trump was asked about this directly and said, "We are figuring that out." All options, he insisted, remain on the table. U.S. carrier groups and guided missile destroyers are positioned in the Arabian Sea, backing every single phase of this operation. F-35s and Super Hornets are launching sorties continuously. These are the 2 most capable air forces operating anywhere on the planet, but air superiority alone does not topple regimes. The real question now is whether complementary moves on the ground are coming. Iran still holds hundreds of ballistic missiles. Launchers are being destroyed daily, but the full stockpile is not yet eliminated. Each day the regime loses more infrastructure, more commanders, and more freedom to operate, but it grows more desperate every hour. Iran can still launch drone swarms and saturate air defenses with sheer volume. That is the remaining threat that keeps commanders awake. The attacks on water plants prove Tehran will sacrifice civilian welfare across the entire region just to survive one more day. The regime rallies its supporters, but beneath the surface, there is a population watching, waiting, and quietly hoping for something different. This is no longer just about Iran. It is a fight for the energy, the water, and the future of the entire Middle East. The question I keep coming back to is simple. Who breaks first, the coalition or the regime burning everything it has left? After 10 days of tracking this conflict, one thing is becoming very clear to me. Time is no longer on Iran's side. What happens over the next few days will reshape the Middle East's balance of power for a generation. That much is certain.